Hi, my name is Courtney Hannon. I'm 33 years old and I teach language arts and writing to sixth graders at Lincoln Junior High in LaSalle. LaSalle Elementary, our school district, has 3 buildings. We've got a pre-K building, a K through 5 building, and a 6th through 8th grade junior high. We have about 850 students in our district, and we're about 76% poverty level. So we have a lot of struggling readers, a lot of struggling students, both socioeconomic status as well as in school. And with the population that we have, you'd really think that our technology department would be struggling, but in reality, our tech department here at Lincoln Junior High is thriving. We have a lot of technology at our fingertips, some of which I'm going to show you. All right, now, a great app to review plot diagram, okay, a story from beginning to end is Toontastic. Who's used Toontastic before? Almost all of you. Excellent. All right, so I want you to go ahead and click on that app.
Yeah, wait. Yeah.
I'm bothering telling you so. A yawn is quite catching, you see, like a cough. It just takes one yawn to start off. Did you just have compare? Yes. Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm 33 years old. I was born in 1978, so I grew up in the 80s. And in the 80s, as I'm sure most of you can relate to, we had technology, but we weren't as dependent on technology, obviously, as we are now. I think the technology that I can really remember the most growing up was remote controls. I remember when my friends and then finally I got my first TV remote control, and it was amazing not to have to get off the couch anymore to change the channel. I can remember my first games console was a ColecoVision, which, yeah, about all of probably 100 people owned. So that was pretty exciting for me. I remember Donkey Kong. And I can also remember our first cordless phone that we got in the 80s. So my friends and I could talk mindlessly for hours. Microwave ovens were big too. So really, technology made our life easier, but it didn't really become an integral part of our lives. I wasn't dependent on it. And I was also raised by my grandmother. So it was just my grandmother and I. And considering she was in her 60s, right, at the time, technology wasn't really high on her list of priorities. Education was high on her list of priorities. So we didn't have a lot of tech around the house. I had grammar workbooks that I might do instead. But then, as self-explained in her book, Technology and Literacy in the 21st Century, the 90s came. And technology and computing became huge. Therefore, I remember that computers and how they were going to affect education was in the news. So looking back, in retrospect, I now understand why I got my first desktop computer in 1991. I was going into 8th grade, and it was the IBM PS1. And I was so excited. I remember I was the envy of all my friends. I was getting this computer. We knew of this thing where you could go into chat rooms and talk with people. So I can remember going shopping with my grandma to buy the computer, and then I can remember purchasing the computer, and I can remember setting up the computer. Well, the whole time my grandma said, "It's for school, it's for school." But I don't care. I was still excited about it. And I think about a week went by with the IBM PS1 before I realized It was definitely not as cool as I'd hoped it would be. It was actually a huge disappointment. It was pretty much, as my husband's put it, a glorified word processor. Um, yes, you could get onto this thing that I don't know if it was the internet at the time. It's definitely not the internet we know now, but it did require a modem. And money soon became high in my grandma's list of priorities. I soon realized that modems were extremely expensive, and my first computing experience was really pretty much a bummer. And then I went to St. Pete Academy for high school. And St. Pete Academy through the 90s, it was a private Catholic school. So between technology just bursting onto the scene in the 90s and my school being fairly antiquated, we didn't really use technology. I don't really ever remember using a computer at school. I used my IBM PS1 to type up papers that I needed on my dot matrix printer, which was awful. It was impossible to load the paper into that thing. But yeah, high school computers still weren't important. I didn't actually use the internet on a computer until I went to Marquette University after I graduated from St. Bede. 1996, I can remember friends of mine in my dorm going down to the computer lab to email their friends on our web browser Netscape. And I had no idea what they were talking about, none whatsoever. And so I decided to have one of them show me what it was. And from that point on, I don't really remember technology not being a part of my life. I mean, obviously from 1996 to today, we've read about it in Self's book. We've all experienced it in society. Technology just boomed. But in college, I mean, especially as an English major, I didn't really have any interest in technology per se. Word processing, yes. Computers is a word processing tool I used. But I didn't use any programs. I didn't use any media. I really wasn't very interested in it. It was helpful, but I did it for school when I had to, but I could have taken it or I could have left it. So you've seen the technology that our students here at Lincoln Junior High use on a daily basis. And you've heard about my minimal use of technology growing up, really and even into college. Therefore, when I started teaching in 2008, which was here at Lincoln Junior High, I didn't think that technology would be a part of my day-to-day teaching. I thought that I was a writing teacher. I thought that I was going to use pencil and paper and books. And we did acquire all of the technology that we have here at Lincoln Junior High over the past 4 years. So when I started, technology was a big topic. It was a hot topic in our district. Yet I still was naive. I still assumed that none of my professional development needed to revolve around technology, that I wasn't going to be using it. And I really didn't for the first 2 years of my teaching. It wasn't until the beginning of last school year, 2010 to 2011, that we hired a new superintendent here at Lincoln Junior High, and he is very technologically advanced. He's quite savvy when it comes to technology, and he encouraged us to try new technology. He encouraged us to integrate it into our lessons. So beginning last year, I started taking some workshops. I started revolving my professional development around technology, and I must say that it opened up my eyes. I try to integrate podcasts into my technology occasionally. One of my favorite lessons that I teach now is in the spring. I have my students take pictures with digital cameras and write haikus with them when I'm teaching haikus. My final project with my 6th graders last year was that they created an in plain English video that they uploaded to YouTube that was a great review unit for the students. It integrated pictures that they created with a script that they recorded, and there was a lot of the writing process occurring with that project. There was planning and drafting and editing and revising. So technology actually, I think, is a great tool for the writing process. I don't see how one can ignore it now in the language arts classroom. So this is what our iPad looks like in the case. As you can see, the case is pretty militant. We've had quite a few iPads already been cracked. We've had to have replacements. So actually last week we just got these covers for the students so that fewer are broken. They're very much like an otter box. This student here is actually on Pages, which is Apple's word processing system. Really, since I'm a writing workshop set up in my language arts class, my students use Pages and the word processing app quite a bit. It's fantastic because our students also have access to email. Therefore, they can email me drafts back and forth. I can email them suggestions. They can use the word processor instantly. And especially since about 3/4 of our sixth graders have purchased into the one-on-one initiative, which is $75 per school year, the students are able to take the iPads home with them as well, which means that a lot more students are getting a lot more quality writing done since they're interested in using the iPads as a writing tool, and I'm seeing a lot better quality and actually editing and revision from my students this year. So in reality, has technology changed my life? Yes. I'm still a writing teacher. I'm still a reading teacher, yet I'm now also a technology teacher as well. And it's not just me teaching the technology, it's me learning the technology, working with my students in order to bring new trains of thought into their learning, using tools that will open their creative outlets. I look really forward to the class this semester. I'm really looking forward to learning different technologies from other students in the class, as well as trying technologies that I know of, like Glogster and iMovie, but I've never tried before. So now I can confidently bring it to my students and have them utilize it like they should be in the writing process in the language arts classroom. There's other technologies I look forward to learning this semester as well. One of those that I can pinpoint is I would like to learn how to use online spaces for my students to collaborate and share, someplace safe for them to feel as if they're a community and that they're comfortable with. So yes, I have a lot more to learn, but I feel like I'm making leaps and bounds all the time, and I'm really excited to see what technological means my future holds.